All right, guys, Mrs. Ackland here. We are looking at IXL cross sections of three-dimensional figures. So three-dimensional figures are like solid figures, like a cube or a sphere, a ball, a box, a tissue box, something that you can hold in your hands. Okay, so it says identify the cross section of the cone. Assume objects are perpendicular if they appear so. So if you were to take a cone, so imagine like an ice cream cone, and if you were to cut that ice cream cone in half, you kind of imagine this little green plane here to be like a knife cutting it in half. What would it look like on the inside when you open it up? Okay, and you have to think about how you're cutting that ice cream cone. For example, if you were to cut the ice cream cone like this, like cut it sideways into pieces, you might think that one of the first two answers would be correct, but that's definitely not what is going on here. They are slicing this ice cream cone down like this, down like vertically, okay? So what is that going to look like? It's going to look like this. It's going to look like a triangle. So if you take a cone and if you cut it vertically and you open it up, you're going to be looking at two faces of the inside of that cone that look like a triangle. Okay, so this time we have something called a tetrahedron. Whoops, I need to turn my tools on here. This is called a tetrahedron. Okay, so it's a three-dimensional figure. And let's look at the base of this figure right here. So the base of the figure is going to give us an idea as to what this slice is going to look like, because it's honestly a little bit hard to tell just by looking at the picture. Okay, but look at the base. The base is a triangle. So if we were to slice through this figure anywhere along here, we're going to get faces that look like triangles. Everything is going to look like the base if we slice it horizontally like this. So the last answer is the only one that can be correct. Okay, here we have a cylinder. So think about a can of soup or a can of soda or something like that. And imagine that you sliced it up and down like this and opened it up. What are those two faces going to be? They're not going to be circles. They'd be circles if we were cutting it, if we set the can down and we're kind of cutting it like this, right? Then you get little rings. But that's not what we're doing here. We are cutting it from top to bottom. If you open it up, you're going to have two rectangular faces looking at you. Okay, same thing right here. This is a triangular prism. Okay, so a triangular prism has like a top and a bottom that look like triangles. Can you kind of see that? And then it's a prism, so it's the same all the way up and all the way down. If we were to slice this horizontally like this, we would get little triangular pieces. But we're not doing that. We are slicing it from top to bottom. So look at what this slice is going to look like. It's going to look like this. It's going to look like two rectangles again. Believe it or not, it's going to be two rectangles again. Okay, so this is kind of like a donut type shape, or a bagel. A bagel is a really good example. So if you take a bagel and you slice it like this, slice it through the center, and you open it up, what do you get? Well, you've got two little circles, two little bagel, a top and a bottom. That is what the surface of the cut open bagel looks like. And I really do think that thinking of real world objects is super helpful with this. You guys might be thinking of different objects than I am, but anyway, this to me looks like a loaf of bread, and typically we would slice bread like this, right? But this person, maybe this is like a big roll that you're going to make into like one huge sandwich. So you cut down the middle, open it up, and what do the two faces of the bread look like? They're going to look like big rectangles, and you're going to lay down your filling for your sandwich in that way. Same thing right here. Think about a loaf of bread or a block of cheese. When you cut down through the middle of it and look at the two faces that you've cut, they're going to look like squares. Okay, and for this one, for the pyramids, the best way to know what that shape is going to look like is to just look at the base. So let's look at the base, and then all of the slices, if they're cut horizontally like this, are going to just be copies of that base. So this, and actually I wasn't sure between these two, it does say that it is a regular square pyramid, which means the base is a square, so it's got to be the square and not the rectangle, and certainly not the trapezoid. Okay, so we've got a cone, ice cream cone again. This time with the ice cream cone, we are slicing through it horizontally. I think last time we were slicing through it vertically. Slice through it horizontally. Imagine what your little slices are going to look like. They're going to look like, yeah, don't think of an ice cream cone though. I think that was maybe a bad analogy because an ice cream cone would be hollow. We're going to imagine that this is solid unless they tell us otherwise. So we're going to go with the solid circle right here. All right, and we are up to an 80, so I am going to stop. Good luck on this one. Let me know if you have any questions.